Hi, good afternoon, everybody. All right, good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, May 13th. Time is now 6:17. We're here for our Henry County Board of Ethics monthly meeting. Start with the roll call. District 1, Jeffrey Lee. Here. District 2, Samuel May. Present. District 3, our new representative, Ms. Diane Easter.
Here.
District 4, Vice Chair Felicia Harrell.
Alicia Harrell.
I'm sorry. District 5, myself, Mr. McLean, ex-commissioners appointees, Lee Kelly. Here. Clerk of Superior Court selected alternate, Ms. Erica Pike, who is absent. Okay, let's start with our next item, which is the board vote for approval of meeting minutes from April 15th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
I make the motion.
All right, motion made by Jeffrey. Can I get a second?
I second.
Second by Samuel Baldwin. All in favor? Any opposers? Yes. We'll have a general updates by our ethics officer.
Good afternoon, board. In regards to our general updates, the first thing that I wanted to update you all on was in regards to the appeal. We did go to court on the date in March, however, or April, excuse me, the judge was not there. And so we have a new date, which would be the 19th. So at that point, we'll be going for a status hearing. And I'll update you all in regards to the results of that status hearing after it takes place. Currently, we have one disclosure that's pending and we have one case that's pending. We'll go over both of those today. After that, we will have no pending cases before the board. And the rest of training, we have 50 new employees that have been trained since the last time that we were here, for a total of 439. This number is a little lower and it's not completely accurate because we still have to update the trainings that Gloria and I have done together, which have been probably 4 since the last time that we've met.
I'm sorry, Ms. Officer. Is it possible we could take that off the screen?
I was trying to. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I had to guess, that number is probably around 460 that we've done in person. We've also had about 778 virtual, and we have about 959 employees we need to train remaining for the remainder of the year. So we are well on our way with that. We do have some updates as it relates to the police department. We have the police department that is just 3 that are outstanding, but as mentioned last time, those 3 are on administrative leave or some type of leave. So we're just waiting on those. The Board of Commissioners, we still have 2. I did follow up with both of them to see if they need any assistance or what may be the problem with them completing theirs, because 3 of the commissioners have completed it. I haven't heard back yet, but we still have 2 commissioners that have not done their training.
Who's completed? Who's on?
The ones that have not completed is Ms. Robinson and Mr. Wilson.
So you can share she's completed hers also? Wow. Okay.
Chair has completed hers.
Is there a due date for the completion of training?
It's typically 30 days thereafter after it's been sent. I did not specifically give them the 30-day deadline. Actually, the system didn't do it. I won't say I didn't do it. The system didn't mark it for a 30-day deadline. But when I email it out, I tell them that you have 30 days to do it, but it does remain open. As soon as I hear back from them, whether I don't know if it's just technological challenges or what it may be, but I'll make sure I'll continue to follow up so we can get those 2 trained as well. I am concerned about my Henry County Parks and Rec. I reached out to, this is the slowest moving training that I've had. They have had only 2 people do it since we met last. I reached out to Parks and Rec. I spoke to Ms. Dunn over there, sent her a list of all the ones outstanding. I said, hey, let me know if I need to break them up and do them in person. Let me know, because they're not moving at all.
So would it be best for them to be in person? Well, do they have accessibility to virtual training? Because I'm pretty sure they're out all over the place every day.
This is one of the departments that we did virtual for them.
Okay.
Because they have the seasonal workers, the camp workers, they have people that are part-time. And so they have the virtual option. But I'm concerned that nobody is just doing it. And when I spoke to Ms. Dunn, I let her know if we need to schedule specific in-person training just for Parks and Rec where they can just walk in. We're in the Parks and Rec building anyways when we do most of our trainings. Then that may be a better option.
I have a question. What was her response?
I have not gotten a response. She just got the list last week.
And how many folks are on that list?
I cannot recall off the top of my head. I know their percentage wise, they probably are maybe at 20% of people who have. It's really low.
As far as our ability to work in tandem with human resources, or like, are they perhaps maybe supporting the idea of training so that we can put a little bit more pressure on the department? And can we make this, because technically it is a mandatory thing. Should we perhaps reach out to human resources about those who've not completed and the response, whether we get one or what the response is?
I can.
Okay.
What I typically like to do before that and what has worked in the past, hopefully it'll work with this department too, is I like to do the chain of command. So I did Ms. Dunn first. She's right under the Deputy Director of Parks and Rec. And then if I don't hear anything from her by next week, I'll reach out to the director, who is Mr. Penn. And then if I don't hear anything from it, I will just go up the chain, basically. That's what I like to do. And usually when I have done that with fire and with police, I've had good results.
As far as time, how much time have they already been given to complete training?
They are not overdue yet, so they're still within their 30 days.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. The Board of Elections, they have 3 board members that need to complete their training. 2 have already completed it. They're also not overdue yet. So I know they'll get theirs done. The Zoning Advisory Board, 2 have completed theirs, the others have not. They're not overdue either. The ones that have completed is the fire department. We got 100%. We will be presenting their department with a certificate. Gloria and I will go over there. That's something we want to do to help encourage each department. So they'll get certificates when they complete it for the year. And the certificate just says it's in recognition of outstanding commitment to integrity and professionalism, achieving 100% completion of the mandatory ethics training program. Your dedication to upholding ethical standards and fostering a culture of accountability is commendable and sets a benchmark for excellence in our county. So if the board is okay with this certificate, then we will provide that to the fire department. We will provide that to the development authority, but they are at 100%, as well as the water authority.
And when you say present, is it done with Board of Commissioners or is it done at the county manager level?
Our plan was to contact the director of each department and go present it ourselves on behalf of. As far as general updates, if you all will go ahead and save the date, if you did not last time, our fall forum is on September 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the community room. And that is all of the general updates that I have.
All right.
Any questions?
If there's no questions, so now we'll have the presentation of the disclosure 2025 DC 1, Richard J. Sylvia.
The board was presented with disclosure from Mr. Sylvia. Mr. Sylvia is a board member of the Water Authority. I will remind the board that the bill mandates every employee or official who normally have an interest, whether it's direct or indirect, in any contract that Henry County is about to be a part of, or any contract that they're already a part of, they have to make a full disclosure of this interest. So while I was training the Water Authority, Mr. Sylvia brought this to my attention that he would have a business in which he was looking to have a contract with the county. So I informed him that he did need to make disclosure. He made that disclosure on April the 11th, 2025. The name of his business is RJ Sylvia Associates LLC. And what they do is they provide artificial intelligence and workflow automations to municipalities and commercial organizations. I did reach out to Mr. Sylvia. He was aware of tonight's meeting. I did inquire, was there anything that you wanted the board to know specifically about this business? And he did provide some things that I will show you all later. I will remind the board that as a disclosure, your duty is to give an opinion as to whether or not Henry County could enter into a contract with this company or if that would violate the code of ethics. The specific portion of our code that this is related to is Senate Bill 22-7.1 F2, participation in contracts. And that reads that Henry County shall not enter into any contract involving services or property with an official or employee of the county or with a business in which an official or an employee of the county has an interest. So the code says that county cannot enter into any contract whatsoever, but it does lay out 4 specific exceptions to the rule. The first exception deals with the first 2 deals with banking, which is not applicable here. The third one is the one that I believe you all need to focus on, and that's contract for services entered into with a business, which is the only available source for such goods or services. When I spoke to Mr. Sylvia to ask him which exception he believed that his business fell into, he did say he believed this was the one that was applicable to him. When I asked,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
when I inquired as to specifically what makes his business unique and where it would be the only source available, this is what he provided as to what his business does. The first thing was workflow automations, streamlining the operations, the expenditures, making it where it simplifies onboarding and task managing to increase efficiency. He also says that they provide virtual agents. So AI where they can do 24/7 questions. It reminds me of the chat boxes that you may see when you go into a website. And then the last one was ethics and regulation tools. And he indicated that it simplifies compliance with dashboards and workflows for managing AI ethics reviews and is tailored specifically to the county. Now, a lot of this was new to me. So you all may have more knowledge about these types of things. But this is what he provided me to provide the board as to what makes his company unique.
Okay, so that's slide, please.
I guess with you,
Thank
you having so many various companies out here that's promoting AI, this AI service now, would he be in contract with any other company that's doing this? Because I don't think he's the only company that's,
He didn't advise that he was like subcontracting out the work or if he's in working with anyone else. He said this is just something that his specific company was offering to government municipalities.
I have a couple questions actually. Is he the owner of the company?
He is the
Okay, and there's a solicitation, or how is it working as far as getting into the contract? How does he know
So
there's?
he provided a presentation to the county as to how his company could assist the county. It wasn't a solicitation or a bid out. This was something that he was offering for the county.
But there's no current acquisitions for the service, correct?
No,
Okay, so I'm kind of going ahead of myself, but if the county was to want this type of service, they would do an acquisition and do market research, correct?
I'm not sure how the county procures those types of things. If I had to assume, I would say yes, because any contract that's over, I believe it's $4,000 for the county, has to go through the procurement process.
And so he's claiming that he would be sole source, meaning he's the only one that could provide this particular service.
Correct.
So the only way we can actually quantify that or verify that is through market research by the county, through a procurement process.
Or Google search.
So that's market research.
Yeah. Don't take that one.
So I'm interested in when he presented it to the county, what was their position, especially knowing that he is a county employee and they would be potentially using a county employee to do a contract with. So did we know what the county's position was when?
I did not ask him what the county's position was. When he presented this to me, he told me he had something scheduled with the county to present to them.
So he wanted to clear it through us
He
first.
wanted to clear it with us first to make sure it would not be a conflict, and he was obligated to disclose it because he is a board member of the Water Authority.
So is he pitching this idea to a certain department or to the county manager?
My understanding is the county manager or the county as a whole.
So if there is a conflict of interest, such as this has been identified, is there an acceptance of policy to enter into a contract in lieu of the exception? I'm sorry, in lieu of the conflict?
Now, not outside of that, in order, if there is a conflict, it would have to be deemed to be a service, which is the only available source for that service. That's the only exception that it's followed
Okay.
for the Board of Ethics. Now, county policy, they may have different exceptions, which I don't think they do. I'm not even sure based on our prior cases that they have a rule about contracting with employees because they were doing it before we had the code. So now this will be the only exception.
I would just like to know if there's a bidding process, because it seems like it would be fair that others have the same opportunity to bid for this type of contract with a municipality. If we can find that out, that would help. And then the other piece is on the surface for me, it's a conflict.
Yeah, I think at this juncture, it's really just an opinion of, do we find it as a conflict? Our hope is that they would follow whatever rules the county have for procuring contracts, and that would be multiple bids. Because one can't say one thing is the only thing available if you've not done, as Dr. Valme said, your research. So on face level, as a board, I guess at this point, we're just looking at if we find that there's a conflict at face value.
I would say it is a conflict. I guess the exception would be through the market research, finding that they're sole source. If they're not the sole source, then definitely should not enter into it. He shouldn't even bid on the contract, to be honest with you. It's a conflict.
But it also sounds like he's soliciting the county for
Yes.
the contract.
Yes.
I think that is very good. Because he said he was setting up the presentation to present to the county as to why his company could be of assistance.
So is it possible we can communicate with the county manager just to see if for one, she accepts the meeting? But then two, what is their decision? Because we can give our opinions with it and we'll probably just max it, saying, okay, hey, this is something we can't do because you're a county employee. Now, if he was to quit and then do it, then okay, that's all well and good, but.
And I'm thinking that's probably what's gonna happen because the county manager has reached out to our office several times to get advice as to what they can and cannot do with contracting with county employees. And so if they were seriously considering it, I would be hopeful that she would continue to reach out. But I believe once the board gives an opinion, you can memorialize that in writing and make sure she's copied on it as well. So she knows that, hey, based on the facts presented to the board, that would be a conflict of interest.
I think the fact that he's making a presentation to the county as a sole source, not knowing whether or not there's even a need or an acquisition, there's a perception there that it's not free and open as far as the bid process. So if they were to be an acquisition, he would be in first position already. So that's a conflict right there as well for the acquisition.
But the board has the duty just to give the opinion as to whether or not this will violate the code of ethics based on the information that has been presented.
I think based on our everyday uses of AI, and every time we interact with any customer service or company or platform online, we typically see these same sort of tools used. And so to believe that this could be the only source, I would certainly need further proof. Because it sounds like AI at this current moment can be catered to any type of business and formatted based on needs and department. Obviously, like you mentioned before, being in first position and not even given the opportunity for those, because it's almost like he has decided to do a county audit. And he's decided the services that the county needs, and let me pitch you this service before the county has decided themselves that there's an audit and a need, and then open the bid up for multiple offers. So on its face, I definitely believe it's a conflict, I guess, whenever he runs it off.
So is this something that you would draft up, just, stating our position that it is a conflict, or is this something we would need to vote on, or how?
That we need to ask general council, is this something they need to formally vote on or just try to memorialize it?
No, you do formally vote on it because that's what,
Support of this.
yeah, and if you're already deciding that it is conflict, then you can vote that it is a conflict and then you go back and forth with the draft like we did the last time.
Okay, yeah, yes, sir.
I'll make the motion that we find that so Sylvia and Associates LLC would be in conflict based on what was presented.
Motion made by Samuel Wellman. Can I get a second? Second by Lee Kelly. All in favor? All right, no opposers? All right. Just have something drafted up and sent to Mr. Sylvia. Next item on our agenda is the preliminary hearing on case 2025 EB3 from Robert Dolman versus Sherry Matthews.
This is Dolman versus Matthews, 2025 EB3. Based on the complaint that was presented, the allegations are that there was impartiality in performing official duties, misuse of position and activity prohibited by law. To summarize the allegations, the complainant believes he was discriminated against in retaliation for doing his job by opposing unlawful employment practices in violation of his constitutional rights, federal and state law, statute, county policies and procedures. To give you a little timeline of the allegations, in March 22nd of 2017, Ms. Matthews was named the county manager. In June the 9th of 2017, Mr. Robert Dolman, he goes by Bob, he became no longer employed with Henry County. The complaint stems from this date specifically, June 9th date. Mr. Dolman at the time was hired as a human resource manager. His job was to investigate grievances and complaints that employees had against the county. He was asked to investigate a specific grievance. He did that investigation and he provided his report to the county manager. Based on Mr. Dolman's side of the story, his direct supervisor, which is Ms. Patterson, she was the human resource director at the time, was not pleased with the fact that he gave his findings directly to the county manager and bypassed her. And Mr. Dolman said that at that point in time, he started to experience some retaliation. I would put a plug in it to notate that none of those people besides Ms. Matthews are no longer employed with the county. Mr. Dolman then sent Ms. Patterson an email. That email indicated that he would not be reporting directly to her. He was not pleased with her. And if he had to report directly to her, then he would not. He did not say he was no longer be with the county. He just said, I won't report to you. Ms. Patterson indicated to him, thank you for your service. We accept this as your resignation. Have a good day. Well, Mr. Dolman disputed the fact that that was a resignation. And so what he did was he ultimately sent an email. He did not see that email that she sent on Friday. On Monday, when he reported back to work, he saw the email and then he advised that he was not resigning. He wanted an appeal. In July, Ms. Patterson advised the county manager that Mr. Dolman was not entitled to an appeal. Mr. Dolman did dispute this with the Georgia Department of Labor, who found that the county did not meet their burden. They had to pay him unemployment benefits, and then he also sued the county. So there is a pending lawsuit that was filed March 5th, 2018, that has not been resolved. I did review all of the evidence presented. It was about 182 pages. He had a communication package to the DA where he was looking to have some formal prosecution. He had different emails to Ron Santana, is a former county employee that wrote a response on his behalf and his support. And then he had a lot of other different things, such as his Department of Labor findings, some correspondences with the former county attorney, things of that nature. Ultimately, my recommendation is dismissed as barred by the statute of limitations. When I reviewed the total package, I did not see anything that happened after 2018. And because we are limited pursuant to 2022 to 2 years of non-wage violation, we are outside of the scope of those 2 years. So my recommendation will be a dismissal.
All right, do we have any discussion in regards to this?
No, I don't have an opinion. We don't have a
Okay,
jurisdiction.
so based off of them, we don't need to vote on this, do we?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we
For
do.
the dismissal.
Okay, so based off of the,
I just have one question. So, I know this is, statute of limitation is out, but question I had was in regards to the pending lawsuit, that would be an issue as well, correct? Or no? There's a pending lawsuit, so we would have to, wouldn't we be stepping on that particular lawsuit if there's still pending?
We would not, because these are quasi judicial proceedings. So the board has the right, if it could, outside the statute of limitations, to make its own determination.
Okay.
And if the person did not like the determination, they could always appeal it to the Superior Court.
I'm sorry, that was my question.
all right, any other discussion? All right, so based off of the ethics officer's recommendation to bar this by the statute of limitations, can I get a motion that we will dismiss this 2025 BB3 Robert Dolman versus Jerry Matthews?
I make the motion for dismissal.
All right, motion made, Assembly vote made, second by Vice Chair. All in favor? Any opposers? Okay, next item, there is no need for an executive session, executive session. Can I get a motion to this meeting?
I make
Motion made by Jeffrey Lee,
Second.
seconded by Vice Chair. All in favor? Meeting's adjourned.